Welcome back, tuning into today's video. I'm going to do the second summer 2014 update today. I'm going to have a look at all the seasonal models and see what they're showing for the coming summer. So it'll be very interesting. Last month's update in March, of course, wasn't that good actually. It indicated quite an unsettled summer on many of the longer range models, but we had one which was okay, the Drumstick IOD, but overall it was a pretty poor, pretty unsettled signal from most of these seasonal models for the summer. We'll see whether there's been any improvement during April. Now, before I get on with the video, I've got a series of announcements to make. First of all, the advertising, this video ads on my pages at GavsWebBiz.com. If you hit play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GavsWebBiz.com. And thanks so much for doing that. Also got the content ads there, links to articles. So if there's any article that you're interested in, have a browse through. I've had a look, there's some very interesting articles in there. If there's anything you're interested in, just click through the link. You'll go off to the website where you can read the article. At the same time, GavsWebBiz get a royalty fee on what you're doing. Thanks so much for getting involved and supporting GavsWebBiz.com. Essentially, the ads pay for me to sit here and talk to you via GavsWebBiz. I couldn't afford GavsWebBiz on my own. So, yeah, the ads really are a means to an end to allow me to sit here to talk to you via the website. Thanks so much for supporting GavsWebBiz.com. Also to say that if you can't watch this video in one sitting, it's going to be quite a long video, so if you can't watch it all in one go, don't worry, the video will be staying at GavsWebBiz.com indefinitely. I'll have a link to it on the seasonal page. It'll have its own page that you can go to and watch the video whenever you want. So if you can't watch it all in one sitting, don't worry. The second summer 2014 seasonal forecast will remain at GavsWebBiz.com for as long as GavsWebBiz.com is on the internet. Of course, on the YouTube channel, it will remain indefinitely. Also, to say about the websites that we're using for the video, well, you can find a link to them on the links page. So if there's anything that you want to see for yourself, any particular chart you're interested in, yeah, the link to it will be on the links page. And thanks to all those websites for allowing me to use their information. And really just say enjoy the video. Hope you find it interesting and informative. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So let's get on with the forecast. And the first three models that we're going to deal with, long range models, are just looking at the 3 monthly period from May to July. They don't yet cover the full summer period. They will do next month. But we're going to have the JMA, first of all, the Japanese model. And the Japanese is going for a 500 millibar anomaly in June. That's very much nearer normal. These charts are broken down into monthly periods, I should just say, rather than a 3 monthly anomaly. These particular charts that we're looking at here. Some of the charts that we're going to look at later on will deal with a 3 monthly period, but this one is broken down into monthly periods. So this is for June. Near normal 500 millibar height anomaly prediction, very much average signal there. For temperatures, it's seeing kind of an average to the west of the country, nearer normal to the east. There we are. Blue colours out to the west, beige is to the east, so around the average, really a little bit below, perhaps to the west, a little bit above to the north. The precipitation anomaly again coming out near normal, perhaps a little bit wetter than average. Let me make this out, a little bit wetter than average in the south, near normal in the north and the northwest, but overall not really deviating that much from the seasonal average in June. Now, as we go through to July, it's a very similar signal actually. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly signal for July, and again we've got near normal heights across the British Isles, a little bit below average, implying a trough of low pressure out to the west. But really it's average sort of conditions in terms of that 500 millibar height anomaly prediction for July. The temperature forecast, again, it's below average to the west. We've got that trough of low pressure near actually for the British Isles. So again, not really deviating that far from where you would expect we would be in an average sort of UK July. Of course, an average UK July does have some very pleasant conditions, perhaps not all that hot, but certainly quite pleasant at times with some settled and warm conditions. The rainfall anomaly for July, again, we're coming out near normal, particularly to the north, perhaps a little bit wetter than average to the south. But overall, I think that's a very average sort of signal from the Japanese model for the first 2 months of summer. Anyway, we haven't yet we haven't yet got the forecast charts for August, so we can't say what the full range of charts are showing for the summer. But certainly for June and July, not deviating that far from an average sort of UK June and July type weather pattern. Now, the next one we're going to look at is Russian model. This is probability, and, well, they've changed the colour scheme on this a little bit, by the way, so perhaps it's not quite as easy to make out, but here's the British Isles just here, and the probability from the model is that we're going to be slightly above average for England and Wales, near normal for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Well, it's difficult to talk about how probability works. It's a little bit different to a generic sort of model chart, but anyway, the probability is for a fairly warm summer across England, Wales. Again, not deviating that far from the average, or May to July period, I should say. It doesn't cover the full summer period yet, but May to July period looking a little bit above average, not deviating that far from normal. The really warm anomalies are actually to the north and the east of the country, most deep red colours, but a little bit above average. Similar to the Japanese model in that we're not deviating all that far from the seasonal normal. For the precipitation forecast for May to July, again not deviating that far from where we should be. The yellow colours there across the north country, a little bit drier or below normal probability, drier than average probability for the north, near normal really for England and Wales, but again it's a very average sort of type signal, not a strong signal either way, really from the Russian model for May to July, so again very average sort of conditions. Now, of course, in a 3-monthly anomaly, that doesn't preclude 1 month coming out very extreme and 2 other months offsetting it, something like that. So there's always a health warning with these charts, but certainly the first two we've looked at don't look all that bad. Don't look all that good, has to say, but yeah, they don't look all that bad near normal sort of conditions from both Japanese and Russian. Now, the South Korean model for June, this is sea level pressure anomaly for June. It's going for a lot of blocking up to the north of the country, a deep trough of low pressure running in from the Atlantic into central parts of Europe. That's a pretty poor anomaly, I have to say. For June, it would be a pretty poor month, that, with a lot of northern blocking, under a trough of low pressure, so it'll be cool. The jet stream going south, it'll be unsettled, cool, dismal sort of June, if that pattern is right. For July, well, it's a little bit better. We've still got lots of northern blocking there to the north of the country, but the core of the trough is being pushed away to the east and the northeast. We've got a little bit of high pressure ridging down into the central part of the Atlantic, although still fairly weak pressure to the south of the country. I think the jet stream with this would be coming in something like that, so probably from an northeasterly direction around that blocking high pressure. It'd be always more unsettled, I think, to the south, so probably a relatively cool July, but hopefully drier than that very unsettled looking signal that we've got in June. So that's the charts dealt with that just go out to July. The rest of the models that you're going to look at will be dealing with the full summer period going from June to August. I'm going to start off with the Brazilian model. These are 500 millibar heights from the Brazilian model, and this is for the whole of summer, June to August. Not very good. It's seeing a trough of low pressure there around British Isles. Of course, these are always a little bit different, so the orange and red colours that are normally on a 500 millibar height chart indicating above average heights, on this chart it's indicating below average heights, whereas the greens and blues, which should normally be below average heights, on this chart it's above average. So it's indicating quite a bit of northern blocking there sitting to the north of the country, a trough of low pressure underneath it. Not very good at all. It would be an unsettled summer if that's right. Let's have a look at the temperature prediction very quickly, and the temperature prediction from the model shows that we're going to be around average to maybe a little bit above, but certainly not deviating that far from where we should be. What about the precipitation prediction? Well, unsurprisingly, the rainfall prediction is for a wetter than average summer there across most of northwestern Europe. Hardly surprising, because we've got the jet stream running in like that, with blocking up to the north, so the jet stream is underneath the blocking. I think on that sort of basis, we would expect a cooler than average summer, to be honest, and it would be wetter than average too. So the Brazilian model really not that good for this summer. Next model is going to be the Surface Analogues from Hugues van den Dul. These are a little bit different because what Hugues does, he gets the sea surface temperature charts for any given month. So this was generated in March, so this was generated in April, I should say, so we would have got these together in March, the sea surface temperature anomalies. And then for most sea surface temperature anomalies, it creates a forecast in terms of analogues based on past years that have the same sea surface temperature anomaly. And this is the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast for the summer for June, July and August. It's indicating a trough of low pressure out west. Got quite a bit of blocking up over Greenland, but we've also got a nice area of high pressure up over Scandinavia. So we've got a bit of a battle going on there between the low pressure trying to bring in the Atlantic driven air and the high pressure to the northeast trying to bring in much warmer, drier weather off the continent. What does Hugues predict in terms of the temperature forecast? He's actually going for quite a warm summer there across the British Isles and most of Europe as well in the warmer than average category. So yeah, not a bad summer on the basis of Hugues van den Dul in terms of the temperature forecast. Precipitation coming out near normal, so no real signal for the precipitation. But I think overall, that's not a bad update from Hugues. I think that would be a reasonable summer, certainly in terms of the temperature forecast. Should just say that we're lacking the NASA model this month. The link that I've got to the NASA website doesn't work, so I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'll keep updating things over next month. Hopefully the NASA model will return next month. The CFS model next. This is not based on analogues and it's not based on probability. This is a generic sort of forecast anomaly chart. This is for June. I'm not going to do the 3 monthly yet, but to probably do it next month, the June, July, August anomaly, but for still a bit early really with CFS model for that. It tends to just show vast areas of white with nothing much going on. So we'll break it down into monthly periods for this month. This is 700 millibar height anomaly prediction for June. Not bad. It's a big improvement on what we're seeing last month with an area of above average heights sitting to the northeast. We could have a trough of low pressure down to the southwest, but overall it is an improvement from the CFS version 2 model on last month's update. It was pretty poor last month's update for June. Had a trough of low pressure sitting over top of the country, so it is seeing an improvement for June. For July, we've still got that area of above average heights up to the northeast of the country. The trough is a little bit closer to the west, but again, overall, I don't think that's too bad. I think we would only be seeing southerly, southeasterly influences at times. This trough could bring unsettled conditions in off the Atlantic, but I think overall that's not bad for July either. So June, July, I don't think are looking too bad on the CFS version 2. Not great, but not looking too bad. Not as bad as they was last month. Now for August, it is still seeing quite an unsettled pattern taking over later on in the summer. We've got this area of below height setting up over Scotland. This has been consistent really from the CFS model that things would deteriorate through the summer, and that idea is still there that August is a more unsettled month. So not too bad for June and maybe not too bad for July, but things do deteriorate then as we get through to the end of the summer. The UK Met Office model next. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly for the summer for June, July and August. It's seeing an area of high pressure out in the central part of the Atlantic. Winds around that would be going something like that, so it wouldn't be particularly warm, but with the high pressure just to the west and the northwest, it wouldn't be that bad. It would be protecting us probably from drastically unsettled conditions. It's just that the temperatures probably won't be all that exciting. The temperature forecast is for average to slightly above average there across the British in those cream colours, so not deviating that far from the average. Could be a little bit cooler than that, I would suggest, with the position of that area of high pressure out to the west. The precipitation forecast, again, it's very much average signal. So this is similar to the models that we were looking at early on, the Russian and the Japanese, in that it's going for sort of average type summer, really. Nothing too dramatic, not particularly hot, but again, probably not particularly cold, and crucially, not particularly wet. So overall, a very average signal from the UK Met Office for the summer. The Drumstick IOD model next. This was the only model last month that was going for a decent summer, throughout the summer anyway. For this month, the temperature prediction is actually been pushed down a little bit. We're closer to average, but I think we're still just about coming out above average there. Most of Europe coming out quite warm, but the northwest is a little bit cooler, and that is a change on last month. Last month it was going for a proper warmer than average summer, whereas now we're much closer to average. In terms of the precipitation forecast, again, it's similar to the Met Office actually, in that it's seeing these sandy colours out to the west and the northwest of the country. So, seeing an area of high pressure in the Atlantic. For the British Isles itself, precipitation is coming out near normal. But I think that explains why it's lower the temperature prediction, because with the high pressure just there, we're running the jet stream around it, something like that. So it's a cooler direction for the jet stream, which is why the temperature forecast has been pushed down closer to average. Nevertheless, it's again a signal for an average sort of pattern for the summer, so average temperatures, average precipitation, not as good as it was showing last month, but certainly not a disaster. And then finally, we're at the end now for this month's update. We've got Beijing Climate Centre. Now, last month, the Beijing Climate Centre was going for an unsettled summer, a very poor summer. It's done a bit of a flip around. Look at this. The 500 millibar height anomaly prediction shows that we're in those orange colours there. That's above average heights, and they extend through many northern central parts of Europe as well. So, area of high pressure dominating through northern, central, and northeastern parts of Europe, if the Beijing Climate Centre is right. And the result of that is that we have a warm summer. Look at this, we're in the warm category, whereas last month it wasn't nearly as good as this. Yet we're in the warm category now, so not a surprise really, where the high pressure is sitting. We would expect warm temperatures. That is indeed what the Beijing Climate Centre is showing. And the precipitation forecast, which last month was wetter than average, this month it's much closer to average. In fact, it's probably a little bit drier than average for England and Wales, and dry for much of Central Europe as well. So an improvement from the Beijing Climate Centre. And I think overall this month's update is an improvement across the board, really. Now, we've still got some models there that are pretty poor, particularly that update from Brazil. That's a nasty update from Brazil. But overall, I think most of the models have improved compared to where they were last month, except for the Drumstick IOD, which has got a little bit worse compared to last month's update. But whereas last month most of the models were going unsettled, rather cool and wetter than average, this month most of the models are seeing sort of average type weather for the summer. An average British summer is a very pleasant affair. And we have got one or two, particularly the Beijing Climate Centre, that's done a complete flip and looks really good. So overall, it's good news if you want a nice summer. We have seen an improvement this month. We'll do it all again next month, and next month will be the final update. So after we get all the seasonal models together in May, I'm going to have to come up with a forecast, and I may deviate from what those seasonal models are shown, or I may go with them. We'll see next month, but GasWeatherVision.com will be releasing the summer 2014 forecast, the official one, next month. So come back for that in May. Thanks for watching the video. I know it's been a long video. Thanks for watching it and sticking with it. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.